Okay, so let's jump right in. What we're looking at today isn't your typical philosophy paper. No, this is something else entirely. It's more like a call to arms for the 21st century.
And the author doesn't mince words. Right from the get-go, it's made crystal clear. This isn't about some polite academic debate. It's a total, fundamental break with how we've been taught to think.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the problem, this so-called philosophy gap. Then, we'll get into the diagnosis from this partisan perspective. After that, the declaration of war itself. And then things get really interesting when we talk about rewriting the whole concept of I. And finally, we'll see what this all means for how we might actually live today. All right, so first up, the philosophy gap. What exactly is the battlefield for this war? Well, it's this huge, dangerous gap that's opened up between the world we actually live in and the tools we have to understand it. They're just completely out of date.
And this is where you can really see the problem, right? On one hand, you've got traditional philosophy, which is often just looking backward. It's busy analyzing these incredible giant thinkers of the past. But on the other hand, our reality today is being dominated and completely rewritten by these massive autonomous systems like AI and global capital. Our old ways of thinking just weren't built for this.
The core argument here is that academic philosophy has basically boxed itself in. It's become really, really good at one thing, analyzing old texts. But in doing so, it's pretty much gone silent on the biggest, most urgent questions we face right now. I mean, think about it. Who's tackling AI in biotech? It's the engineers and lawyers. Philosophy has essentially taken itself out of the game, believing its job is just to read history, not to actually intervene in the present.
Okay, so now for the diagnosis. And believe me, this isn't just some stuffy academic squabble. The argument is that this gap, it's a crisis. It's created a massive power vacuum, and something else is stepping in to fill it. Non-human forces are quietly taking the wheel.
This is the heart of the diagnosis. The age of human centrism, it's dying. We're no longer the main characters in our own story. Instead, systems like capital and AI are becoming the new subjects, the new protagonists. And what are we to them? We're just a standing reserve, a resource, an inventory to be managed.
So how do you fight back against that? Well, this is where the idea of the partisan comes in. Think of a partisan not as a soldier in a regular army, but as a guerrilla fighter. In this case, the regular army is academia. The partisan is a philosopher who fights this war of ideas from the outside, on the front lines, using philosophy as a weapon in the real world.
And you have to understand, this isn't some new flashy idea someone just came up with. This declaration of war is the result of a 55-year intellectual journey. 55 years! That's a lifetime of thinking and preparing for this exact moment. All right, so let's get to the declaration of war itself. What's the strategy? It's to introduce a whole new operating system for our minds. The idea is that for centuries, we've all been running on this buggy, outdated software, let's call it the modern European OS. This new philosophy, categorical phenomenology, is meant to be the upgrade, the new system. And this isn't just a simple software patch. The strategy is to completely deconstruct modernity by dropping three conceptual bombshells. Each one is designed to totally shatter our old way of seeing things.
Okay, bombshell number 1, subject inversion. This is brilliant. It just flips the whole script. We always ask, what is capital to humans? This bombshell says, wrong question. The real question is, what are humans to capital? See what that does? It immediately removes us from the center of the universe and forces us to see ourselves from the system's point of view, as a resource.
Bombshell number 2 gets into the nature of experience itself, what philosophers call qualia. For ages, we've treated experience like a static thing, like a photograph you can hold and steady. This idea says, nope, that's all wrong. Experience isn't a thing at all. It is the motion. It's the texture of motion itself. It's a process. It's a verb, not a noun. A fundamental shift.
And then there's bombshell number 3. And this one is the most radical of all. It completely redefines the self. That I you feel inside you, it's not the starting point of your thoughts. It's the opposite. It's just the sediment, the residue left over after the whole process of thinking is done.
So let's really dig into this idea of rewriting the I. This is a direct attack on Descartes, right? On the most famous line in modern philosophy, I think, therefore I am. This new idea flips it on its head. It's more like, thinking happens, and therefore, what's left is what we call I. So how does this work? Imagine a chemical process. You don't start with a solid thing called I. No, you start in this primordial, anonymous state where there's no difference between subject and object. Then, a massive process of negation and elimination kicks in. Your brain basically strips away everything that it determines is not you. And the I? The I is just the sediment that's left at the bottom of the beaker when the reaction is over. It's an after effect, not the cause.
Okay, so this is all pretty mind-bending stuff, but what's the point? What's the practical application? If we actually adopt this new way of thinking, how does that help us live in a world that's being run by AI?
Well, here's the survival guide. First, you have to let go of this sweet, comfortable illusion that you're a fixed, central person, a noun. Stop thinking of yourself as a noun and start seeing yourself as a verb. Become a morphism, a process of constant motion. Why? Because if you're a process, if you're always in motion, the system can't pin you down. It can't capture you, can't turn you into inventory. It's a weapon of resistance, a way to survive in the gaps.
And in the end, after this 55-year journey, there are no easy answers. Just a final, really profound question that's left for us to think about. If that feeling of I that you hold so dear, if it's really just the leftover junk, the residual error of a massive system achieving its own goals, then how are you going to choose to live?